Yeah, you know the ones that whip up on you without warning and wail unmercifully through what seems like forever. Especially when the roof departs the premises overhead and a huddle of guys, guitars, and a few uninitiated gals gather under the only remaining vestige of shelter. Duane calmly smiled and said, "Billy G., let's you, me, and the fellows rip a version of One Way Out, 'cause this may be it, brother." We was soaked, scared, and loaded. Yet after a scathing, rain-racked howl of a night, the show somehow went on. I won't forget it, nor will I forget the enthusiasm of that first wicked night. Rugged, rockin', ragged, and definitely righteous. Everybody smoked, and everybody was toked. Make that stoked. So let's get on with it. You've spent the dime. Now take some time with this creation that paints a picture of this charismatic character of the slide guitar. Duane will do the rest. He stands as one of the very best. Prologue. When he and his sister were still quite young, he was 9, she was 13, there was no place on the planet more fun than Daytona Beach, Florida, in the summertime. It didn't matter that the only motel their parents could afford to stay in had no air conditioning. There were tiny slat windows that opened with a hand crank to let in the cool ocean breeze. The stuff that did matter was the sand, the salt air, the saltier water, the pier, and the boardwalk, with its long stretch of souvenir shops, food stands, and pinball arcades. They were just children, but since they were on vacation, their parents let them stay out later than usual. It was the early 1960s, back in the days when a couple of kids could still run around outside after sundown without a worry in the world. As they stood there, looking out at the vast ocean, the boy and his sister suddenly heard loud, blistering rock and roll coming from the big building halfway down the pier. Their father was a minister, their mother a high school English teacher. In their sheltered northern Alabama Southern Baptist upbringing, one of the things the siblings had never encountered prior to that warm Florida evening was genuine, live rock and roll. Slowly, hesitantly, they walked down the pier toward the music. Afraid to venture too near a room filled with such unquestionable iniquity, they got as close to the building as they dared. Suddenly, the lead guitar began to wail, playing slow, bluesy licks that mesmerized them both. Ungodly was much too weak a word to describe the music they were hearing. The girl giggled, the boy listened intently, hanging on every note. For him, it was a life-changing experience that he would still remember with total clarity some 4 decades later. The girl was my sister. I was the boy. The guitar player was Duane Allman. Chapter 1. Where It All Begins. The first stuff I heard was Hank Williams and Flatt and Scruggs on my grandma's old '78 player, D.A. The blues, along with country, gospel, and jazz, originated in the southeastern United States, an area of the country once rife with the oppressed and disenfranchised. Few among the population of the Old South escaped adversity in one form or another, whether it was the hardship of slavery suffered by Africans brought to the region to work as field hands, the death and displacement caused by the battles fought to rid the territory of Native Americans, or the indignities inflicted by the carpetbaggers, who infiltrated from the North after the Civil War with the sole objective of profiting from the defeat of the Confederacy. The harshness of such oppression produced intense emotions, and from those emotions came great art.